And we're joined on the telephone by comedian John Evans. John, how are you today, sir?
I am great.
Good.
It's Free Beer Friday tomorrow. It's not like that deal where they have the sign at the bar that says Free Beer tomorrow. I get it. You just keep coming back as never.
Never thought about it. Now, John, what's happening in the world of baseball?
Let's see. The San Diego Padres were in a major bind last week when their team bus inexplicably did not arrive at their hotel to pick them up to take them to a scheduled game in San Francisco versus the Giants.
Wow.
Well, what does the team have to do to get respect besides not be 10.5 games out of first place in June?
That's quite a drive. Yeah.
Yeah. So the team bus doesn't show up, and the team secretary had to think fast, and he did. The team secretary flagged down a double-decker tour bus and negotiated a rate to take them, the entire team, to AT&T Park. And even though their hotel was 10 minutes from the stadium, the team arrived an hour and a half late after seeing Fisherman's Wharf, Lombard Street, and the site of 3 of the Zodiac killings. The Oakland A's called up journeyman relief pitcher Edwin Jackson from the minor leagues last week. Journeyman is a phrase you really don't want to be associated with unless you're a beat poet or a guy who follows the band Fish around the country while selling hemp jewelry. The news would normally be a footnote in the world of baseball transactions, but it ties a major league record. This is the 13th team Edwin Jackson has played for in an 18-year career. This is the most teams a player has played for in the history of baseball, tying a record held by relief pitcher Octavio Dotel. And Edwin Jackson gets around more than Khloe Kardashian on 3 hits of ecstasy at an NBA All-Star game. It's weird because to achieve this particular feat, you have to be good and bad at the same time. No team wanted to keep him, but there's always another team willing to give him a shot. Jackson is like the Matt LeBlanc of Major League Baseball. This signing falls under the umbrella of teams always needing pitching. Jackson's career has been pretty unremarkable. He has a career ERA of 4.66, and his overall win-loss record is 98 wins and 120 losses.
Wow.
So how does he stay in baseball? Well, a willingness to play for the league minimum helps. Jackson will make $545,000, which is the same as a guy with 0 major league experience. So it's definitely like a devil-you-know situation. That is, if Satan had a 5 ERA. Chicago Cubs relief pitcher Brandon Morrow suffered a back injury last week that happened in a most unusual way. The injury occurred not on the baseball field, but when Morrow was at his home and he was taking off his pants. You heard me correctly.
Yeah.
Now, it didn't happen because his pants were down around his ankles and he fell down a flight of stairs. Morrow told a group of reporters with a straight face that after a long travel day, he was removing his pants and he felt a shooting pain in his lower back. The injury forced the Cubs to put their closer on the 10-day disabled list. And this is a bad look for baseball players who already are viewed as the least athletic group of the 4 major sports.
Sure.
I mean, as it is, baseball players pro bowlers look like triathletes. And a few more injuries like this, and professional fishermen are going to start talking smack. Well, as far as I can tell, this injury is unprecedented. It's not like you can go back in time and say, I think we all remember that time that Reggie Jackson went on the disabled list because his shoehorn snapped on him when he was trying on a pair of Earth shoes that were a size too small.
Earth shoes.
Or what about in 1968 when Dick Allen tore his rotator cuff trying on a Nehru jacket for the first time?
Classic.
I mean, even Tony Gwynn, one of the greatest hitters I've ever seen, had the physique of a shop teacher with a thyroid condition. I mean, CC Sabathia looks like he has the trainers fill up the Gatorade coolers with pancake batter.
Yum.
I mean, at the very least, get Brandon Morrow one of those sock buddies, so he doesn't go back on the deal. Or send him to middle school with a bunch of fifth graders to see if he can get his presidential fitness badge. Now, finally, let's see. Washington National superstar Bryce Harper his impending multi-million-dollar free agent contract could be taking a hit due to Harper's recent extended slump. He is hitting just .217 for the season, and there have been rumblings that he is going to have difficulty getting the 10-year, $400 million contract that he has been rumored to be seeking. Mm-hmm. Any of you guys good at math? 10 years, $400 million?
Wow. I can't do that without a piece of paper or a calculator.
Well, that's around $40 million a year.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
In the ballpark, in the neighborhood of.
Yeah.
Not only has his batting average dropped to .217, but he has just one hit in his last 24 at bat.
Oh, jeez.
Harper's timing is worse than the guy who invented the laser disc. Now, personally, I think Bryce Harper's pressing. That's a baseball term when you have a contract coming up, you're trying too hard. And I think it's really strange that he is hitting 60 points under his career average, which is .280. And he's hit .330, .320 before, so it's kind of odd. And despite his low batting average, he did still lead the National League in home runs with 19. And also, Harper's only 25 years old. So, I mean, when he gets this contract, he'll be entering the peak of his career. And I think the interest in Harper will be, on the open market, will be at a fevered pitch. Now, the rumored landing spots for Harper are the Yankees, the Dodgers, and the Cubs. What a shocker. The three teams with the payrolls approaching $200 million are in the running for Harper's services. It's like Daddy Warbucks, Bill Gates, and Nelson Rockefeller are about to get in a bidding war for the last Rolls Royce on the planet. And here's the thing. I don't think a 10-year contract is a good idea in any sport. I mean, 10 years ago, I was doing vasectomy research, and 2 months ago, I'm celebrating my son's 6th birthday. And 10 years ago, Kim Kardashian was moderately annoying. Now she makes me rethink my stance on waterboarding. And the situation gets a little bit weirder because last week an anonymous baseball executive was quoted as saying that Bryce Harper was a, quote, losing player. I'm guessing this is coming from a team that can't afford the $40 million a year price tag. Mm-hmm. Not only does this sound like sour grapes, it's just objectively not true. In Harper's 7 years in the major leagues, his teams have finished first, second, and third. I mean, since he's arrived in D.C., the Nationals are 135 games over 500. That's like a full season of games. Saying that Harper is a losing player is like saying hamburgers are gross because you had a bad experience at White Castle. And that, you guys, is my baseball report.
All right. John Evans, thank you very much, John. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Great
Thanks,
stuff.
John.
No.